Hello Floss fans, it's been quite the long while since I've sat down to have a chat with you all. My name's Ella, this is my channel Spectrum Stitcher where I like to talk about cross stitch, my PhD research in relation to climate change law and my experience as a woman on the autism spectrum. I want to acknowledge that I am recording this video from the unceded territory of the Wadawurrung people and pay my respects to their elders past, present and future. As I said, it's been quite the long while since I've sat down to record a video. One of the reasons for that is that in addition to parenting, PhDing, I've also been teaching for the last 12 weeks or so, which has been an incredibly enriching experience, but also taken up a lot of my time and my energy levels. And so whilst I have been crafting here and there, I just haven't had the capacity to sit down and have a chat with you all, but I'm very delighted to be doing so now. Part of the reason I decided to sit down and have a chat with you all today is that I'm also going through a bit of a tough time emotionally at the moment. And so I'm trying to remind myself of things that bring me joy and things that I love doing. And so I thought, hey, haven't done this in a while. And it does indeed bring me a lot of joy. So I hope you'll bear with me, even if I'm not my full peppy self. I think it's important to share up times and down times. I also have quite a bit of news in terms of some things that are great in my life. So I found out recently I'll be heading over to Cambridge University, UK for 10 days for a workshop through my uni. So I'm very excited to be doing that in December. I'm hoping to meet some people that I'm a big fan of while I'm over there, principally Evelyn from Evelyn Across the Pond, hoping to catch up with her for a coffee if the stars align and schedules align. But I haven't been overseas in 10 years, so you know, I've been full-time mumming and all sorts of other things, and so it's going to be great to have an opportunity to travel and to meet some new people and to engage in a discourse of ideas in relation to the workshops I'll be attending. So I'm looking forward to making some videos to talk about what cross stitch I'll be taking with me, even though it's a 10-day trip. I'll be on a long haul flight. So I thought that might be an interesting video to see my thought process behind what I'll be taking with me. I'll have to figure out what that thought process is before I go ahead and make a video about it. And yeah, even though it's a short trip, crafting will be a key part of me remaining centered while I'm away. So, you know, I'll be missing my kids, I'll be missing my usual routines, and so I definitely see crafting, stitching as a coping strategy when I might be feeling emotionally or energy a little bit depleted. So it will be a key part of my strategy for having the best time away possible. So I'm looking forward to sharing more with you all about that. Please forgive if this order is a little bit higgledy-piggledy today. As I said, not feeling the best in myself. Also, it's been a little while. I usually like to share something about my PhD. And I think last time I made a video, it might have been before Australia passed its first federal climate change legislated target in relation to greenhouse gas emissions reduction. So I might have to go back and check my previous video, but I think last time I spoke with you all, there was legislation before the federal parliament in Australia. That has now passed, so we now have a 43% by 2030 greenhouse gas emissions target legislated. That is the first time in Australian federal law that has happened. It is not a prohibition on new coal or other fossil fuel projects, and so it will be interesting to see whether in Australia efforts to address climate change ratchet up, but I certainly see this as a fantastic starting point after years of stagnation. And it will also be interesting to see whether litigators will be able to use the 43% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 target in litigation as a legal foothold to argue that a fossil fuel project should not be approved. So it's a matter of watch this space in terms of the impact, but it is certainly a very welcome development in the Australian domestic context, and I hope to be able to update you on that as time progresses. What have I been learning about my autism lately? That's something else I like to usually share. I'm not sure if I've learned new things about my autism lately. I think that I've become more and more confident in my identity and more aware of the ways that my neurology impacts the way that I feel and react to things and see the world, and also the great asset that it is to me in terms of the compassionate and empathetic lens I'm able to bring to the world in terms of the diversity that's out there, my understanding of other people's struggles. I've started to see sort of my sensory sensitivities as something that I can use as an asset in certain situations. Like I was feeling really down the other day and I thought, what about I eat something really, really yummy to really pep myself up? And so I got some really nice brie cheese, some local organic creamed honey, and a really crisp Granny Smith apple. And I put a bit of honey and brie on that piece of apple, and just the combination of creamy, sweet, and tangy, like exploded, and just transported me in that moment and just gave me so much joy. And so, yeah, because my senses are quite heightened, sometimes that can bring pleasure rather than overwhelm. And so, yeah, I suppose I'm trying to celebrate my autism recently and use it as a platform for confidence about who I am and the way I engage with the world. So that's my little spotlight on that. Now, it has been quite a long time, as I said quite a few times now, since I've talked with you all, and so I have quite a few things to share. I've not kept very good track of what I have worked on since I've seen you, so it's sort of just me pulling out of my own memory what I've done. It's certainly not going to be a comprehensive update, and I'm going to miss things out, but I'm sure that you will all I hope that you will all enjoy seeing my update, as higgledy-piggledy as it will be. I have 3 finishes I'd like to share with you today. One is a start and a finish, and I'll start with that. It's a Barbara Anna design. It is called Frida and Diego. And I've completed the stitching. I used all the called for DMC. It's stitched on, I believe, 16 count Ada in the Zweigart colour Dirty, I believe. And this was just a joy to stitch. I don't believe I've updated you all on this one before. I think it is a start and finish since my last Flosstube. If it isn't, I'm sure you'll forgive me. But I was very delighted to finish this. I principally stitched this on the train. When I was teaching, I was getting on a train for about an hour and a quarter each way. And this was a really fun, meditative, but also colourful way to just enjoy the train ride. And I find that Barbara Anna designs, because her PDF charts are in full colour, they're quite good for being on the run. That sounds like I've committed a crime. I mean that away from home stitching. So I would have a copy of her PDF on my phone, and I could zoom right in. And because it was a colour chart, it was very easy to follow while I was on the train. So I'm delighted with this one. My plan for fully finishing it is to put it in a hoop. And I look forward to updating you on that when I have a moment to, or the inclination to do some fully finishing. So this is Frida and Diego by Barbara Anna Designs. Now I have a couple of framed finishes to share with you. It was my birthday recently, and my mum gifted me some framing for my birthday. So thanks very much, Mum, for that. The first one you have seen me update on a couple of times, and I'm delighted that it's done. I decided I wanted to finish this one this year. Because I was at Anglesey on holiday with my children this January, and I really enjoyed stitching on that there, and I was booking the same holiday for this upcoming January, just a couple of days at a family holiday park there, which I adore, that tradition I have with my children. I'm very privileged that I can do a little holiday like that. I've done that for, I think this will be the 4th year. And I just thought, you know what, I don't really want to get to another Anglesey holiday with having this one not be finished. I really want this one finished. Without further ado, this is the Japanese Pincushions by Modern Folk Embroidery. And instead of stitching each season as separate pincushions, I decided to stitch them all together in one piece as a little sampler. I've shared on the channel before that I collect Japanese kokeshi dolls, and so I thought it would be nice to stitch this and display it with my kokeshi dolls. And I selected 2 DMC colours to match, DMC 310 and then a red, which I'll put in the show notes, but I have shared in previous episodes before which DMC red this is. And yeah, I'm going to display it with my beautiful dolls, and I'm just delighted that this is done. I stitched it on some 18 count hand dyed Ada by number 12 Stitch Co. And yeah, I'm really proud of this. It's provided as a monochromatic sampler, but I decided to do 2 colours, as you can see, and I chose which elements to highlight in the red, or which will be black and which would be red, and I'm really proud of this. I will, if I remember, insert a picture here of it, the way I'm going to display this. I think I'm going to put it on a little easel in front of, or stand in front of my kokeshi dolls. I don't have that stand yet, but I will put it in situ so you get the idea, and insert a picture here. Ta-da! Okay, so this next fully finished that I got framed for my birthday, I don't think I've ever shown on the channel before, but it is something that I started in May of 2021 on a little weekend getaway with a friend, and I just love this designer. It's Kyoko Maruoka, who goes by Gera. And I loved this pattern so much when I saw it on a finish of it on Instagram, that I tracked down the Stitch magazine that it was in. And yeah, I've recently wanted to start more Kyoko Maruoka charts, and then I realised, and I did start some more, but then I thought, oh no, this was the one that I was most in love with, so how about I finish it off? So I did that. So without further ado, this is Emily Dickinson's Herbarium by Gera Kyoko Maruoka. And I could not be prouder of myself for stitching this, because I think when I started stitching this in May last year, I thought it was a bit beyond me. I mean, it's not very symmetrical. Everything's very, as you would imagine when you're charting flowers, it's very naturalistic, and therefore not confetti heavy, but just you don't get into a rhythm of following a pattern. It doesn't become familiar to you. The chart is also in various shades of green in hard copy from the Stitch magazine that it's from. And so it's, yeah, like it was a bit hard on my eyes. It was very small. But I've grown in confidence as a stitcher, grown in patience, and that's why I believe in stitching as a form of meditation, and about learning perseverance as well, because sometimes, you know, you feel like a project, you know, is beyond you and too far from completion, but with a little bit of stitching each day over a dedicated period of time, my little garden grew and now is complete. And this is just the type of look, the type of whimsy that I really, aesthetic that I really love, and I can't wait to display this in my bedroom for me to look at every day and get joy from. And I would love to give away my hard copy of this pattern. It will be cut out of a magazine, so I won't be sending the whole magazine. I'll just send, because there's other things I'd like to stitch from it, I'll just send this chart. So if you are interested in stitching this chart, how about you leave me a comment and be a subscriber? Please be over 18. I will post it to anywhere in the world. Do not use the word getaway, but please use the word in your comment garden. And I'm delighted this will be my first giveaway on this channel. The pattern for this, the hard copy pattern for this design. And I look forward to your responses. I think there's about 200 of you who follow me now, which is just so cool. You know, some of you are not my very loyal family and friends who aren't interested in stitching, who are just being nice and giving me some support. So some of you love stitching. So if you love stitching, you'd like to stitch Kyoko Maruoka's chart called Emily Dickinson's Herbarium. In Australia, it certainly wasn't easy for me to source. I had to source it from a Japanese craft magazine seller on Etsy. So yeah, I'd be very happy to share the love and post you a copy of the chart, well, my hard copy of that chart. Okay, so there are my finishes. Now to some works in progress. I started Up in the Air by Barbara Anna. I'm going to have to insert a picture of that chart here because I don't have it with me to show you. Now, I'd like some advice on this one actually, because I think the original is stitched on Vintage Country Mocha. And I decided, because it's got lots of hot air balloons and those types of elements, that I'd like to stitch it on blue. But the colours in are those, you know, quintessential Barbara Anna warm colours, and I don't know if they're popping sufficiently on this very pale blue. I think it's sort of not gelling with the vibe very well. So this is the start of the head. The colour's blowing out a bit. It is just a pale sky blue. And yeah, I think perhaps these warmer colours would look better on a Vintage Country Mocha sort of tan colour. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Yeah, I was interested in sort of converting the chart to have it look like it was all up in the sky, but I think perhaps I'm more dedicated to the colours sort of gelling the way the designer intended, and I'm at a stage where I'd be okay to let this amount of stitching go and use this piece of fabric for something else and perhaps restart it. I'll show you the colours, perhaps that will help you in your deliberations in terms of your advice. So here are the DMC colours. So some yellows, some browns, a skin tone, and the blue. Here's what they look like on the fabric. Gee, I'm a bit rusty at this. Everyone says that when they haven't filmed a Flosstube for a while. But now it's me saying it. So what do you think? I don't know. I think it might look better on a tan. I'll hold it up against the finish I have of Frida and Diego, but a bit of the fabric that's unused, and you can hopefully see what I mean, that perhaps the colours would pop better on a brown colour, tan colour, particularly this blue. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Restart on a tan colour or keep going with the sky blue. I liked the idea of the design looking like it was all in the sky, but I think, yeah, I'm just not sure about that one. So that is Up in the Air by Barbara Anna. And I suppose I should have said, hey, it is me, it's Ella, it's not, I'm not an imposter. I just decided to get a pixie cut and embrace the grandma chic grey tones, and I'm loving it. I sort of feel like this is who I am. It's taken me a long time to sort of feel brave enough to experiment with this look, and I couldn't be happier that this is, I sort of feel like I'm presenting physically consistently with who I feel like I am on the inside, and not being held back by people thinking that grey hair doesn't look good or short hair isn't feminine enough or what have you, and all those sort of insecurities I felt about going ahead and doing this. So yeah, this is me, and yeah, I'm excited to share this new look with you all. I'm also loving how it gels with these set of glasses I have. Sometimes I wear my other ones with the zigzag in the middle and the green, and it also looks cool with that, but I think, yeah, particularly with these. So I'm enjoying this new look, and I was going to say I hope you like it too, but whether you don't or not doesn't matter because I love it. So yeah. All right, what else have I been working on after that little very navel-gazing sort of interlude? I have been working on Elizabeth Squirrel by the Scarlet Letter, which will be a very long-term project for me, although I'm hoping at some point to get obsessed with it and just do this all the time. I have been stitching this on the train. I think I might make myself a working copy of the chart because it does get a bit battered. But it's got this, the way this is charted is full color, and it's in a really good size, really good, magnification is the wrong word because I'm not using any magnification, but it's, yeah, it's the squares on the chart are a really good size for easy to follow. And so it's good for travel in that regard on a train, and it might be good for me to take on a plane when I go to Cambridge. But I think I might make myself a working copy, which usually I don't do because I like to be as paperless as possible. But this was not an easy chart for me to source in Australia. I got it sent to me from Canada. So I think that I would like to just, yeah, make sure, given this is going to be a long-term project, that it doesn't get too battered along the way and it lasts the distance. And then also I can pass it on in a future giveaway on this channel. So that's Elizabeth's Squirrel. Here's my meagre progress. I'm using all the cord for DMC. I am using a piece of 18 count Ada in the colorway Decrepit from number 12 Stitch Co. This is a bit crinkled, but hopefully you'll forgive me. Ugh, very crinkled indeed. Hang on. Here's where I'm at. So I think last time I showed you I had this bit up here, but not completely filled in, and I hadn't really started outlining this big green leaf down here. So I'll zoom in, zoom. Really happy with the colours, how the colours are looking on this fabric. And I think I'm displaying it to you the wrong way. Yes, I am. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so here's the chart for reference. So we're looking at this part up here. No, we are not. We're looking at this part up here. Oh my goodness. And so, yeah, I'm definitely showing it to you the right way. Now, there we go. So I had this part but not filled in. I'd had that part, but I've done all of this here. Elizabeth Squirrel by the Scarlet Letter. and I will show you the beautiful colours, which they're quite tangled and such, and you know, very used condition, but they are beautiful and rich and vibrant. I can't wait to start using some of these pinks. So yeah. All right, what else have I been up to? I started Swan Lake by Kyoko Maruoka. You can get this on, you're going to have careful look at my show notes today because nothing is coming to my head very easily, but I will try to make detailed show notes. You'll notice on my last video the show notes are missing. Things just ran away with me and I got a bit behind with that, but I will be diligent this time and put up some show notes. But you can get this on her crafting Japanese website, and you can use the Google Translate function on your computer to translate the Japanese. I do speak a little bit of Japanese, so I found it okay to navigate. If anyone would like some help getting the chart, you can ask me. Also, I think Jess at Little by Piku here on Flosstube, she's given some really good instructions on some of her floss tubes because she alerted me to the existence of this gorgeous chart, which I will insert a picture of here. So this is Swan Lake by Kyoko Maruoka. And there's another couple of beautiful charts that I also got that I plan to start soon. So Romeo and Juliet being one of them. I've got my called for DMC in these beautiful, vibrant shades on my Stitch in Time Hobart thread keep that I got when I attended the retreat down there earlier this year. What a fantastic time that was. And I'm stitching this on some 14 count lilac Ada. Without further ado, here is my progress. So I've stitched the swan and their reflection and this beautiful cherry blossom tree. And I actually stitched this when I went to a conference in Sydney and spoke, and it was one of my first academic sort of speaking roles, and I was quite nervous, so it was great to have a sense of calm, some hotel stitching, some aeroplane stitching, there was some delays, and my stitching just got me through all of that, so as well as some support from family and friends, but you know, stitching was a key coping component. So here we are. I'm very happy with how that looks, and I'm itching to get back to this. But this is the piece that actually inspired me to get back and to Emily Dickinson's Herbarium and finish that off before I started all of the Kyoko Maruoka designs, because I just love the whimsy of her designs. And so I thought, I'll finish that one and then get back to this and start all of the other ones that I want to. So yes, here you go. Okay, a little bit more stitching, cross stitching to show you, and then a little bit of English paper piecing to share. So this is Emily Peacock Forest. And this is very, very crushed. I don't know what I was thinking in the way that I've stored this. So apologies. I don't think I've done a lot on this since I last saw you. But I've really got to finish this one because I love it. But I think I worked on this flower up here. So there's this flower up here, and then there's a flower to go down here, or a plant. And then I've got to do all of the back stitching, French knots, all of that. Like there's French knots that need to go onto these mushrooms, etc. But I've shown you this one on the channel before, but yeah, I just thought I'd keep you updated with where I'm at. This is definitely high on the list of things to get back to sooner rather than later. And it will need a good old press. It's quite crinkled. Okay. So that's where that's at. I'm using all of the kitted DMC for that one, and the kit fabric, the kit Ada. So now to some English paper piecing. I'm stitching the Liberty Paddle cell, so using Liberty of London Tana Lawn fabric. This is a stitch along by the Strawberry Thief, a fantastic Liberty of London fabric shop in Perth, Australia. And I'm using, well, you'll see the colours that I'm using, but it was sort of a choose your own solid colour adventure, and I chose two. I chose a beautiful red and a beautiful blue to try and go for a 1950s theme. For those of you who've watched my videos before, you may have seen my progress of this project before. But this is not a finished block. I still need to go around the outside with another red ring, another layer of red hexagons. These are 1-inch hexagons. But I need to cut out the red ones. You can get pre-cut solid colours from the Strawberry Thief, and I think that's a great time saver. It is cheaper though to buy yardage and cut your own out. Some days I doubt my decision in that regard, because I do find the cutting out process my least favourite part of the process. If you're a quilter or a sewer, please let me know what your favourite part of the process is in the comments below. Do you like the cutting out? Do you like the basting if you're doing English paper piecing? I think for me, I quite like the basting. I use the glue method, but I most of all love the sewing. And I love the selection of which of the colourful Liberty hexagons I'm going to place where. So that's this one. And then I have another block that's nearly complete, just needs the layer of the red on the outside. I absolutely adore this one in the middle. And I love this one too. Oh, just gorgeous. So there's that one. And then I have an in progress blue block. So this is where I'm at. And I like to use the Wonder Clips as suggested by the Strawberry Thief to hold everything together as I'm sewing instead of pins. And I love the little cowboy in the middle of this block. It's fun selecting which one you're going to highlight for the center. So that's where I'm at with that. So that's all of my works in progress and my finishes. It's certainly not all of the stitching I've done since I last filmed, but it's the bits that I remember that I've done, and I'm pretty happy with that amount of work actually, and excited to share them with you and excited to get your feedback and what you think. And yeah, it's a bit of fun to, I can feel my mood brightening already by just making this video. Now it has been quite a while, and that means that I've purchased the odd thing here and there. If haul's not your thing, that's going to be the rest of this video, so perhaps watch the next Flosstube and I'll see you next time. But if you would like to see some of the things I've collected over the last little while, please feel free to keep watching. I don't have a Save the Stitches segment this time. I will have some things to show you in that regard next time. I was actually gifted something today, which is a Save the Stitches, but I'm trying to do this in one take, so I'll show you that next time. That can be a little teaser for next time. But here's some haul. So it was Nashville Needlework Market, and I pre-ordered some charts through a Stitch in Time Hobart. Now I won't be taking things out of the plastic to save us some time and some crinkling, but here is Poppy by Hello from Liz Matthews. I suppose consistent with the Emily Dickinson's Herbarium chart, I just love, and actually the Emily Peacock Forest chart, I just love flowers and trees and flora, and so this is consistent with that type of thing that I like, and I'm looking forward to stitching it. I also purchased Winter Garden by Hello from Liz Matthews. I just loved the soft colours. So there's that one. I should have brought these things in easier reach. Forgive me leaning down. And something of course has fallen well out of reach. Okay. Then it was my birthday, as I mentioned, and I checked out a fantastic embroidery and cross-stitch shop in Geelong West, near where I'm from. and I will include the details of that below for any local stitches. And yeah, my mum gifted me something of my choice. And so this is a sashiko kit. Never done sashiko before. It's got fantastic rainbow variegated floss. And it's probably very hard for you to see, but it's this sort of floral geometric design. So you might have to take my word for it, and hopefully I'll start it soon. There you go. This is the design up here. So it's got the fabric, which already has the stencil on it, and then I need to use the gorgeous rainbow floss to make the design. And I've been told it's pretty much a running stitch, but because it's in a geometric layout and that the floss is variegated, it actually gives a much more complicated effect in the end than it actually is. So I'm excited to see whether I enjoy this, because the effect is absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to have a finished piece that looks like that in my home. I also picked up some charts from Stitching Time Hobart. This is quite a while ago. I think I just wanted to treat myself one day, and so I did. I will take this out of the larger bag, but not the individual bag, so forgive the crinkle for a moment. Olga by Plum Street Samplers. I just thought this was... I have a friend with quite a grumpy cat, and I thought that this cat sort of reminded me of that. Grumpy is probably the wrong word. Misunderstood is probably more fair. But this little Olga cat reminded me of that cat, so I'm looking forward to stitching her. I think it's a her, but I apologise if I've mispronounced her. I suppose Olga, name isn't necessarily indicative of a pronoun, is it? Here is Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. I've been coveting this for a very, very, very long time. I think I first saw it on Elizabeth Ann Stitches channel. I just love the colours, and I love the flowers, and I love the bird. So looking forward to doing that one day. I also got Pomegranate Santa by Plum Street Samplers. I loved the pomegranates, and I thought it would look nice with my Christmas decor one day. Oh, hopefully that's not going to fall to the floor. I also liked Home for Christmas. To me, it doesn't read like it is Christmassy, but it doesn't sort of have to. It could be one that I would be comfortable to display all year round. But I think essentially I was going through I want to buy all the charts with the pomegranates phase, because there's these pomegranates here. And I also liked the very quilty looking stars here. So looking forward to doing that one day. And then I bought Autumn Hill by Plum Street Samplers because I loved the poppies. So I was going through poppy and pomegranate phase between the Liz Matthews poppies chart and this one, and the other two pomegranate ones I showed you. So poppies and pomegranates for all, I say. Okay, what else have I got in my bag of tricks? Some other Nashville releases. This is by The Blue Flower. It's called Magpie and the Moon. I love magpies. To me, magpies are one of the sounds that their song is one of the sounds that are quintessentially Australian. When I was about 15, 16, I went to Japan for 5 months on exchange, and I flew home, and obviously I was quite homesick by the time I was coming home. And I had a flight from Japan to Brisbane, and then from Brisbane down to Victoria, where I am, down to Melbourne. But when I got off the plane in Brisbane and was changing terminals, I heard magpies, and I just had the feeling of relief that I was home. And yeah, that coming home feeling just washed over me with the sound of the magpies. So I feel quite connected to magpies. I always feel comforted when I hear them, and so I would like to stitch one. I also picked up some Mojo Stitches releases from Nashville, and weren't they just all stunning? And it was difficult to choose, but I have some of the Mojo Stitches bird charts, and pretty much if she's going to release a bird, I'm going to stitch it. So this was Among the Roses by Mojo Stitches. I just love the colours. I love the antique look of it. It is a reproduction, so I'm looking forward to doing that. And then I also loved this one, Twitching Noses, and I thought that the rabbits would go really well with my collection of Easter items that I'm stitching, and my display that I'm adding to a little bit each year. So that's why I was particularly interested in this design. So thank you, Joanna from Mojo Stitches, for releasing those beauties into the world. I can't wait to stitch them. And then Kathy Barrick just got me with some of her releases from Nashville. This one is called Wildflowers. Yeah, just consistent with wanting to stitch all the flowers and all the plants. I had to pick this one up, and I love the simplicity of the colour scheme. And then I also got White Winter Moth. Some of you may know I have started stitching Barbara Anna's moth design, and I thought that this would go quite well with that. So I thought I'd like to pick this one up for my collection. What else have I got in here? I got the Barn Owl from the Year in the Woods stitch along from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I don't know if I might have shown that one before actually. I've got my Thread Club, which I might, in the interest of keeping this short and sweet, not show today, but if that's what you're here for, let me know, and I will definitely spend some more time on some threads next time. I picked myself up these beautiful pair of Kelmscott Design scissors, which the colour just made my heart sing. So I got them from No. 12 Stitch Co. And I also picked up some fabric. So I must admit, I think I've got to sort out my lighting situation, because I've picked up a few different types of linen as distinct from Ada recently, but I've not been feeling confident to stitch on them. And I think I've got to sort out my lighting, because if I can do that, then I think I'll practice more, I'll grow in confidence, and that will be good. But I picked up this piece of blue. It's called Whit Sunday, and it's by No. 12 Stitch Co. By the way, here's their details. Hopefully you can see that. If not, I'll put it in the description below. And it's this gorgeous, I think it's aptly named Whit Sunday. And I have a Kyoko Maruoka design I'd like to put on that, potentially. And then I also picked up some 18 count Ada from No. 12 Stitch Co. in the colourway Mud Cake, which is also aptly named. She does well with the names. So I just loved that colour and thought it'd be a nice one to have in stash. So, thank you for spending some stitchy time with me. Thank you for being a community that I turn to when I'm going through a rough time and I need to lift my spirits. Thank you for those of you who have patiently continued to follow me while I've been less active here on YouTube. And stay tuned. I'm looking forward to sharing how vital and stitching is to me in terms of feeling calm and centered on the road when I head to Cambridge, UK. Until I see you next, let's all of us take each day one stitch at a time. That's certainly a mantra I need to live by right now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to your comments. Remember to enter the giveaway. The keyword was garden for the Kyoko Maruoka hard copy chart. And let me know what you think in terms of restarting my Barbara Anna Up in the Air. Yeah, looking forward to hearing from you all. Okay, take care.